Guys, this is at ASUS. This was the Helios that I showed you guys yesterday on a short. You can see the front has changed to a more breathable, but it essentially is the same Helios internally as it was before. We do some graphics, and you'll see right here there is actually a white Thor 3. That is obviously not released yet. This has a white 5090 Astral, and that is the curved Rio 4 in white, which is also not released yet, but it will be coming eventually. You can see from the back that this is pretty much very similar to the original Helios, because it actually is the original Helios. Outside of some of the no longer being silver here, we're getting the white, pure white. And moving on here, we have the Doom edition. For those of you that pre-ordered or didn't pre-order, that's kind of what you're going to be getting. I'll put more photos of it up so you can see it easier, but it has the graphic on the back. And coming over here, we have the new Harp 2 Ace, which, if I can find one, I guess I can't find one at the moment, but let's just take a look at the bags. For those of you that like ROG accessories, here are some bags. And then, all right, let's just come back. So there's a lot of people at ASUS at always, right? There's the ASUS area really, and this is the ROG area. The same ROG ALSEYE X, not anything new, so not yet on the refresh. Here they're showing off Armory Crate 6 with some of the new auras patterns. And then here is pretty much just monitor of displays. And then they have the ROG Omnibot. This bot, actually you can talk to it. It's built by AK Mod. They have a microphone here. You see it makes all these different faces. It's really cool of a display. Hopefully it stays intact. And then coming over here, we have the Astral BTF. Okay, these are the BTF Astrals. So you'll notice it maintains a 16 pin. So you guys can still not worry about reselling it afterwards. So it works with, as you can see, BTF boards. And there is a high power adapter on their backs, right? So it plugs into the card, so you can still have resale value. Here's an external dock for Thunderbolt 5. And then here's the C Industries custom build. And then here you have a white Astral 5090 signed by Jensen Huang. And then over here we have another build pretty much highlighting the ROG Astral. This is also done by AK Mod. You can see it's designed to have it spinning around the Astral itself. And on the wall here, we have some of the current gen boards. And obviously, once again, the white Rio 4, which is not released yet. And moving forward, I want to show you guys something you may or may not have seen yet. I think I posted on my Instagram. It is the X670 Hero BTF. Right? So it's the same as the regular Hero X670E, with the differences being now the NVMe heatsinks all come off at the same time. If you pull this tab, the entire thing comes off. It's not separate. I think just... Okay, I don't know if they'll let me do it now, but you can see that it pops off fully, right? So you no longer have their captive screws. They've managed to fix the issue with the even pressure of the pads, which is why they used screws before. But that's been figured out now, so you're going to be all latch free. I mean, all screw free with latches moving forward. Moving over here, we have the kind of like the LianLI wireless fan setup, where you have a receiver to connect all your fans to, and then that will connect to your machine, and you'll control all your fans that way. And then here we have some merch that you can win. And let's see what else. All right, so I did want to show you guys the whiteboards. Where are they? There's some new whiteboards. I saw them earlier. I'll put photos. Oh, they're over here. All right, guys, this is really walk and go. So if we come over here, before we get to the whiteboards, you'll see some of the new Miku collab. For those of you that are into it, there's a keyboard, there's a mouse, there's a headset, and eventually there will be an ROG Miku with, I don't know what parts will come out, but it wouldn't surprise me if a motherboard and graphics card came out, so just wait. Obviously supplies are just keeping supply of current products is an issue. So here we have the new Tough pre-built. They showed this off on Instagram, so you can see it has some really cool piping and cooling inside. And here we have a BTF Tough. Is it AM5? No, it's not AM5. Yes, it is actually. It is A580, 5070 Ti, right? Is it a 5070? Oh, 5070 Ti BTF edition. So that is not another unreleased GPU. As you can see, even though it's BTF, it maintains a 16 pin. So therefore, you can still have that resale at the end. And then here we have the Radeon in white, the right 9070 XT white. So that's also coming. And let's just take a look at the back here. We can. Right, so you can see the back. So pretty much is the same as the current Radeon, but in white. See, here we go. Here's the 9060 XT. And then you have the Noctu edition, which has an owl in the back now. So you can see there's an owl. And it's actually it's quite a bit longer than the original, right? Last generation's. It's 3 120mm fans. It's also a 4-slot, I believe. And then here we have the one of the new white AMD boards, right? The 850 BTF. This is obviously not out yet, but soon. And here is obviously the Intel variant, non-BTF. Once again, it's also on the wall. Now, if we walk across the hall here, we can get to ASUS, the ASUS branding. This is probably not for most of you guys, but the ProArt series is here. So I just want to show you real quick. We come down. I saw it earlier. So here they have a lot of the ASUS NUCs, and then the industrial AI and healthcare. Those of you in the United States may not realize that ASUS is really, really big in Taiwan. It's like the Samsung of Taiwan, okay? Now if I can find the workstation products, yes, there we go. Okay, so coming over here, you'll notice that this is another wood version of the PA682 ProArt case, right? It's not the current wood one out, it's actually a lighter shade. And then here we have the Thermaltake new ProArt 5080. Not Thermaltake, sorry, the new ASUS Pro 80 ProArt. There's actually another version here. This version also has a SSD on the back, like they've done previously with the other cars. If you notice, it's an SSD. I'll put up some photos, but also has a wood finish. I'll put up some photos that's easier for you guys to see. And that pretty much is everything interesting that I saw at ASUS. So let's move on. This is MSI. First, we're going to take a look at some of their smaller white motherboards that are unreleased. And there you have that gigantic Meg case. And here we have a white AIO with the screen on it. I think this is new. And let's see. What else do they have going on here? I haven't really walked through this area because it's been crowded nonstop. And I think during the hours where it's not so crowded, I haven't really been here. So let's see what they have. So this is just more power supplies, like the mag. Just zoom in here, the mags. We have another white motherboard, the X870E Tomahawk. I have to say, MSI has been doing pretty good with these white silver motherboards. Unlike the Aorus ones that are just like a slab of white, I feel that they're doing something at least with some contrast in it. And here we have the screen. It's called the Mag Vision Lite 2. You can see it actually, it's in the build, in this build here. So I'm guessing you can get it as an option for your build. This is definitely an MSI case. It's called the MSI Pano 130R. And you can see that it has the X870E Tomahawk Wi-Fi, the case, and yes, the Mag Vision Lite 12. So that is going to be, I guess, something that's upcoming. And if we come across here, we have, I guess, a monitor all-in-one PC with the breakdown, so you can see. And what else? They got some pre-builts, which look kind of generic. And I think they have a collab. Okay. There's a collab here. I guess this person, well, let the camera here. There's a collab, and if I guess that person in there responds to your movement or tries to mimic your movement. But you can see that, what is this? This is full pink Fury with the Iron Mouse themed PC. I don't know what the Iron Mouse is, but okay. So, and then you see they have the holographic display. This essentially is just the LCD portion of an LCD plastered on. So if you took a monitor apart, you can see that you can probably see on the back side, that is the LCD aspect without the backlighting of an LCD screen, and that's how you get that effect. Obviously, you need a very bright interior to achieve that. It's kind of like what people used to call snowblind, but actually was done well before that. And then you have a pink Iron Mouse motherboard, which I don't know if it's a one-off or no. So I don't think this will be a one-off. I think this will actually be something they will release. For those of you who know Pink Mouse is, put it in the comments because I have no idea what it is. Apparently it's a VTuber theme? Okay, it's a VTuber theme. All right, so let's just see what else we can find here at MSI. I think, okay, so they do have some video cards in this corner here. All right, so this is day 3 and the number of people have not gone down. So tomorrow it will go down dramatically, but then they will close down a lot of stuff and we won't be able to see many things that are still on display here. So so you're always fighting with media to just even get into position. But here we go. Here's a Super Titanium Edition, which really just looks like, I don't know, the Gold Astral. So I guess, I don't know if that's going to be a one of one or whatever it may be. Then they have the Cyclone visual, which is kind of a concept. I think it's just really more for eye attention than anything else. I haven't seen that kind of limited edition. Oh, this one has a screen on the cooler. Okay. So I haven't seen any of that. I remember back at CES, they showed off a special Lightning Supreme Edition or something to that extent. I haven't seen that here. At least to my knowledge, it's not here. This is just the current Shadow, Ventus, nothing too new here. Let me see, I just want to make sure there's nothing new here. Okay, so there's the Supreme, which isn't, okay, so they don't have that special Supreme here. So they got the Vanguard, which honestly, okay, so, and then the regular Supreme. Okay, Supreme Liquid. Yeah, so that special Supreme is not here, unless that gold one is supposed to be it. But, let's go back to the gold one. No, the guy's still there. But let me see if I can. Okay, so he's not there anymore. So let me come back to that gold one so we get a good look. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, so let's just take a good look at this. Okay, so you can see that it's got a fairly gold all around, gold bronzish, and it is called the Supreme Titanium Edition. But titanium metal, okay, but obviously it's not the, I guess they have the different textures, but it's not the color you would expect. But nonetheless, that is that. All right, so I think that's pretty much all there is for MSI. Unfortunately, not much new in that regard. They do have another booth downstairs, but that's more for enterprise. All right, so we're at Colorful now. This brand is huge in China. Unfortunately, they don't really make it to America, but they definitely have some of the coolest stuff you can get. I really like this brand a lot, but unfortunately, it's not in the North American market. But here you go, you see the 5060s, and they have the Vulcan 5080. They have these 5090Ds. I don't know how long that's going to keep going, because obviously, once again, this manufacturer is in China. You can see they have a complete white heatsink, and the screen is detachable. I don't really want to remove it while I'm here, but look at the design. It's just on the black one here. It's just so nicely done. The eye gains. It's really unfortunate that we don't get it in the United States. They are the largest GPU manufacturers in China, but you can see they have laptops as well. It's a really deep portfolio. They do rebadge RAM, as you can see here. I mean, every now and then we'll see some of their stuff in like WCCF Tech or something like that, but it's not, it's all the cool stuff that never makes it here. The cases are kind of out there, but they do have some really project mod cases, but I will show you guys that in a second. But here we go. Here we have some of their builds with their stuff. You can see it's nice pink and purple, pink, purple, white, right? And you can have like stuff like that. You know, it's just really, really out there. And I think because the market in China is just so much more varied than in the United States, they can kind of take these larger kind of gambles. But you can see here, here's another GPU. You can see the screen can be removed and put onto the side, like you know, it just magnetically attaches. There's the pin connector, and it just snaps right back on. It's, you know, it's super cool. And you can obviously inside the case. You know, you've seen the Hoth implementations of this as well. And here we have a iGame helmet. It's an aluminum case, kind of designed for their stuff. But this thing is super cool. This is the iGame Vulcan space capsule. You see the PSU sits flush. That is sick. I'm pretty sure that's an ITX. You can see the SFX PSU right there. And you can see the AIO on the backside here. I don't think I'm allowed to move it, but this thing is super, super cool. Let me see what we can see here. Yeah, you can see the ITX board right over here. And what else? So next to it, I think I saw this online before. This is the kind of all-in-one concept. You can see it's one piece of solid aluminum CNC'd out. So this thing would be expensive if it ever hit the market. Obviously, this is going to be aluminum, so you can't exactly mix and match. At least I think it's all aluminum. Does it say? I don't think it says, but judging by it, it looks to be all aluminum. You can see the heat plate for this CPU, and you can see here it's running, right, with the RAM slots, AIO, the Neptune colorful AIO GPU. Beautiful, just beautiful. It actually matches that InWin, right? That InWin signature this generation, if you can get it. And this thing is just gorgeous, well, in my opinion. You can see enclosed motherboard, even with the handle, it's just, that thing is sick. And this thing is a removable capsule, right? I don't know how much I feel about this one. Next to this one, it just doesn't look as cool anymore. Not that it isn't. And then they got the meows, you know, the meow cat. I think you guys have seen that. It's been around for a bit. It's cute, you know, if you're into that. You know, I really wish we had these kind of things in the United States for different audiences. But unfortunately, you know, the companies, they're very kind of conservative, the ones that are in America, in North America at least. So they're not going to go this kind of wild, because they're afraid people aren't going to buy it, and they're not really willing to do it as just like even a hero product. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. It's probably one of the coolest booths here. This is AsRock. There's not much here that I think interests you guys. So I'm just going to quickly show the GPUs. These are kind of the baseline Challenger models. Nothing too, these are Intel ARCs. Nothing too fancy. I think I'm going to try to show you guys the AMD cards on the other side, but everybody's like hawking over them right now. So I'm going to come here and take a look. Alright, so here you have the Steel Legend, which I think many of you are familiar with. And here's some of the harder to find versions, like the TRYX, right? These use a 12-volt high power as well, okay? Which I've said many times is not a problem. And then these are the TRYX whites. This is a concept card, which means it's coming. I mean, come on, white GPU these days. If you're not making one, you're kind of missing out on the market, right? Sort of lower my gimbal a bit. These guys get better to see a better look. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this will come eventually. It's got a screen on it too, apparently. Let's see if I can get that. But yeah, so this is definitely going to be one of those sooner or later, just like the last generation's TRYX. But yeah, so that is all really at AsRock that I found to be interesting. I'm not going to show you guys all the boring fluff. All right, this is TRYX. We're going to start real quick here. You will see that they have a new water block. This is pretty much the same style as the Ryujin from ASUS directly, where the G114 ports are at the bottom. This build here is actually done by AK Mod. So this gives you an option to use a water block version. I think in the future they may do a collaboration with Bitspower to do a slightly modified version that's more custom. Here we have a build by AML Customs. It's a colorful TRYX Luca, just to give a little more pop. I personally like the orange and the white. Here's the Luca Air, which is something they've shown off before. Moving over here, I want to show you guys one more thing. They actually have PCIe 5 risers. They come in 200 and 300 millimeter. Those are not out yet, but soon. swinging by, you'll see that they have air coolers, and these air coolers also have a screen. And then they're introducing a new AIO called the Stage, and you can see that you have essentially two LCDs. Well, it might be one LCD, but there's a mirror reflective base, and you can put your figurines on it. I think this is, for those of you that like to put stuff inside your case, this is a good option, whether it be a car, a figurine, or whatever it may be. So moving over here, there's too many people around it right now. But here they have a new case as well that's still under development, and this case uses a cross-flow fan. So if we come here, you'll see that it directs air from, well, it's blowing this way, but it normally faces like this, and it directs air into the case on the side. This case does use fabric, but it still allows for 3 120s if you wanted it. It's going to come in separate colors, peach being one of them, as you can see, and then there's a white. Right, so here's a pink. These covers are removable and washable. They come on like a drawstring, and then you can just slide it on afterwards. And here's a white. The price point on this is going to be about a little higher than the 150 mark, I think about maybe 160 or so. They're not too sure on that. And then now they also have the new case where it has a screen on the bottom side. I'm going to try to capture this when there are so many people, but if not, I'm going to put a video up. A photo up on this video, and I'm going to quickly describe it real quick. But that is what's TRYX. All right, so yeah, it's called the Arc Vision. You guys can see it over here, but the only one sample. Oh, there's a sample here. There's a white one in that corner, but there's a black one here. As you can see, the screen is at the bottom. Now the screen is not flush. The reason why the screen is not flush against the case is because there is a border on the case, on the screen itself, right? So it's black. So on a black case, it's easy, but on a white case, you're going to be able to see that black border really easily. But you can also see that there is covers that you can use to change. There's a black marble. I mean, there's a wood and a black marble. On the white, you have the white marble and a wood. They're still looking for alternatives to put there. So if you have any suggestions, put it in the comments. I suggest they could put something aluminum based and not just like, marble and wood. Okay. But yes, so let's move on. Quick look at Antec. There's some cool stuff here. This AIO with the HDMI screen that's kind of large and rotatable. As you can see, you can rotate it. I don't know why you would want that, but it's still cool nonetheless. And then here we have Stuart from GGF Events reporting on cases. So you can check his video for the cases. I think all the cases are fairly the same, just different colors. Very breathable from what I can tell, but once again, check his video for that. And coming here, we have the Flux Pro. If this looks familiar to you, it's because if you watch a lot of stuff, there's a collab with Noctua, and essentially the exact same case. But here we go, we have the CA curved wood. Personally, I don't think any of these designs are currently unique. But here we have a nice portable handheld. It's pretty cool. It's actually pretty compact. I like it. Flips up for a keyboard. It's like the old T-Mobile Sidekick where you can just text message. If I can put it back. Oh God, I undocked it. Well, they're gonna have to figure it out. Oops. But anyway, that is running the Ryzen mobile processor. Not mobile processor, sorry, Ryzen. Well, the guy's blocking it. But I'll try to get the specs in a bit. Here they have some accessories for it. I'm not too sure what this is. Is this a controller? I think it's a controller with a screen. Yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, see? So they have a gamepad with a screen. Pocket Micro. Is this a console? Micro has a micro SD. Let's see. Let's see what the specs are on here. I'll come back. I don't want to get in the guy's way. Specs for the handheld. 6 inch 1080p. It's nice. Ryzen 7 8840U. 16 gigabyte. So this is pretty much like a mini Legion Go. So that's pretty cool. The size is really cool. It does seem to get really warm though. And here it's Captain Nonstop here is still at it. So I'm gonna have to come back to that, guys. The Nonstop left. Let's take a look. Here we have the 3-point-inch IPS 960 by 640. Processor MediaTek Helio G99, so that should be something from China. Right? Like a whole, I forgot who makes those chips. So it is a portable console. I guess you can run emulators or something. It runs Android, so it's probably emulator based. That's really, really cool. I don't know if that will come into the United States, but you know, nonetheless, it's cool to see. This is GEIL. It's a memory maker. For those of you that aren't really familiar with this in the United States, that's totally understandable. But I just wanted to stop by here and show you guys some of the builds by AKMod here. This is actually a Tower 600. That's crazy, right? This is, I wouldn't call this a case mod, more like a case armor, case skin, which is something that he's also very good at outside of purely scratch builds. I mean, these things are just really cool. And this air blade here, this is actually a case that's available in China, but it's going to come out in black. It's not going to be in this really cool titanium gunmetal finish, but I will buy one of these, and you'll see it on the channel. I'm going to work it out right after this, right after Computex, but that thing is super sick. But here, just look at that. The fact that this is a Tower 600 is just unreal. I almost feel like I should have done something like this for my Tower 600 mod, but I guess maybe next time, right? So the memory itself, I don't think it's too, how you say, well, for me, well, there's a tough alliance, all right, but overall, not my aesthetic, but for some of you, maybe, right? So, but it is what it is. Just wanted to quickly show off those two builds. So here's Geometric Future, right? Nothing here that you guys haven't really seen on the market, except for, with the exception of one extremely cool case. This one. This is the Model 9. As you can see, this part actually moves up and down. Can't be demonstrated on the show floor here, but this is all 100% aluminum in the bare. That is cool. It almost reminds me of like an InWin signature case. This case will support triple, well, as it stands right now, triple 420s. So top, side, and bottom. Obviously, it's running with their fans. We won't see this till later this year, end of the year. It's about to be about $500 supposedly, but I'm definitely gonna try to get my hands on one as soon as possible. And that is kind of the new thing here. They do have their fans. I think some of these fans are the same. Yeah, I don't see much difference. Well, actually, that one might be different. That white one right there. Let me see. Let me get closer here. Yeah, okay, good. So this is new. They have the, sorry guys, they have the magnetic attachment now. Or magnetic or clip-on. Well, it's a little flimsy, as you can see. It's a little tricky still. But that's new. So this is new with the connectors where they all daisy chain. See, this is the old daisy chain, new daisy chain. So that is new. And the AIOs, I think the AIOs changed a little bit, but sorry, the camera here. So the AIOs have changed a little bit as well. Right, these are daisy chain. I think this is new. I've seen their AIOs. Oh, there's one, the screen is new for sure. But yeah, so that's Geometric Future. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that Model 9. Once again, we'll just come back and take a look some more at the Model 9 here. This is a really beautiful case in my opinion. I like the fact that it's solid. It's just all aluminum, glass. I mean, you can't really go wrong. Yeah, that's a beautiful case. So, looking forward to it. This is ALSEYE. You may have seen their fans. They have some of their stuff makes it to the US, but some of the crazier stuff like this definitely does not make it to us. I mean, if you really want something out there, you definitely have choices like this. I mean, this is just something we don't see. I think this one might actually be on Amazon. These two might be on Amazon. And then, well, that's like seizure, not seizure friendly. You see the fans, they're super RGB. Yeah, these fans we've had in the US for some time now. These right here. These are cool. They're essentially frameless. I'm not sure how well that affects airflow, but oh, so it's pretty cool. I guess now they have a seizure version, and we'll just move forward here. This robot case is cool too. Excuse me. All right, so here's a super cool robot case. I mean, I really wish they bring these. These are really cool. See that? I mean, this is the case as is, guys. There's no modding here. This is just how it comes. And then we come here. This is the other one. This one is also, as is. These things are cool. The airflow on top, right? I mean, we really wish that it'd be cool to get this stuff in the U.S. market, right? Just, I mean, these things look so unique. I mean, they might not be the best airflow performing items, but they just look unique. And it's always nice to have unique stuff, right? I mean, look at that. I mean, some of this stuff is whatever, but like, I guess these are RAM heat sinks. I mean, look how cool that looks compared to what we have, like, which is nothing. So, hopefully someday. So that's ALSEYE. Okay, guys, this is LianLI. They got some new cases out. You can see that, like the LianCool 217, where it's actually perforated with a cutout for the fans, and the rest is blocked out with solid mirror-like acrylic or glass in this situation. And then we have a new Mini V2, where you have the angular tilted radiator, and then you have the Vector V100, which I'm not too familiar with, and there's a Vector 200, where you can see has a screen in the front. I think it's just the 8.8 TRYX screen, USB based. And here we have the rotating new curved Hydro Shift AIO. You can see curve like this. You see this curvature? I'm actually curious to if they're going to get sued on that, because I'm pretty sure someone else named TRYX has that curved AIO, and I'm pretty sure those things come with patents. So I'm kind of shocked that that's out here as is. But anyway, so moving on. They have the Dan case before, which is, I guess, a new Dan case. It is larger, but you can see that you can also tilt it like that, right? And then have a exposed version to show a front display like this. Okay, so that's the new Dan case. And then here, yeah, the V Vector 100 Mini. I mean, this has to be, it's like, hardened plastic. So this is definitely a very budget case. Yeah, here we go. $59.99 for the black. Wow. So without fans, we're talking like $50. So this is really like just a case to move volume, right? And then now you have a Mini V2, like I was showing you guys over there. I really don't see how many more minis they can make. And this is a LianCool 217 with the wood. But this is actually a fairly handsome case in my opinion. I like it. 120, 124. I mean, I guess the wood will be later on, but this is nice. LianCool 4, bigger, the 3. So availability October 25, 130 for the black and white. I mean, this is nice too. It's nice open air. You can see it on both sides here. There's a system here. And so I come around, you can see that it's also open on this end. Obviously, there is what it appears to be a 360 at the bottom. So you could put a 360 radiator in the bottom, and maybe looks to be maybe one on top. Obviously not one in the front. So not the world's most water cooling friendly case, more of an air case, which is to be expected, right? And then here you have the CL wireless. These may be new. They light up on the sides like this. All right, I mean nothing. Yeah, I mean nothing too amazing. I know you'll probably see a bunch of YouTubers post videos going, "Oh, LianLI's bringing all these different things." Oh, yeah. Well, most of it is not too. I don't want to say exciting is the right word, but not too. Oh, here's something. Right, I think this is already out. Yeah, this is definitely a TRYX screen software. You guys can buy that screen from AliExpress for like $40 for the 8.8. But yeah, so that means the software is going to be highly dependent on them as well. But yeah, so definitely they've incorporated the bringing the screen into the case quite a bit. And what is this? Yeah, 8.8-inch universal screen here. You guys can see it. This is definitely the TRYX model, right? So you see it's in there. A lot of people have done this, on their own, aftermarket, and they're just kind of bringing it into the case onto the side or in the front or whatever it may be. So that wraps up LianLI. I think the LianCool stuff is probably the coolest stuff here. See here, yeah, the LianCool 217, LianCool 4. Those are the cool things that are coming out. A little different, leaving the dynamics. It's about time. And yeah, let's just take a look at it again. You can see here the 217 being smaller with the dual 180s in the front. And once again, taking a look one more time at the larger version. It's nice that, you know, I don't know if the finish on this is, it's metal. It has a metal top, but it looks nice, but it also looks kind of cheap. But that's my personal opinion. All right, so let's move on. This is SilverSton. Just want to show you guys two cases real quick. One is the Alta T2, which is fairly new. You'll notice it has the airflow in the front. And this is definitely a workstation-based build. Well, not the components here exactly, but this is workstation potential, right? Just on rollers as well. And then you have the Alta T1, which is showed off last Computex, based off the old TJ series. And here is just nothing that you... So yeah, they put a gamerish build in here, but I remember they wanted to do more of like a workstation focus. So I'm a little bit curious to see why there is one of these here. But yeah, so that's that. So what else do they have at SilverSton? Some PSUs, nothing that really, yeah, this is what a server chassis. Okay, stand-on server chassis. Okay, so this is pretty much the two things you guys might be interested in. The Alta T2 and the Alta T1. Moving on, right across from them is HAVN. And here we have another one of AK Mod's builds in an APNX, which is under Pro Gamers Group, right? Which has HAVN, Noble chairs, and all that stuff. So APNX, I think they're in the budget category, right? I think so. I think most of the cases are pretty budget, and they look budget, but you know, everybody's got to have some money movers. And then here we have the new HAVN case, this one. And here we'll have the Doom edition, which I 100% want to match with my Doom 5080 Astral. So we'll come around so you can get a better view. Okay, so here we go. So here's the other side of the Doom case. It's got some stuff going on here. And yeah, HS 420 Doom edition. This is sick. This is sick. For Doom fans, this is sick. You get some custom buttons at the top. You get the color matched. I don't know if this matches the Doom. It doesn't look like it matches the Doom Astral in terms of color. But the developers gave the hex codes to most people. So I feel like it probably, I mean, this is just so damn cool, man. Oh, that's just cool. That's just cool. I just want it. And then here we have the newer case, the BF360. These dual 180s in the front, also swappable for 3 120s. But you can see it's nice, not too big of a case, but very nice. I would say more. You can definitely do water cooling in this case. And they have a white option with the front. This is like a fake stone, which is nice. And then we can move around. And then here we have the stone one, white, definitely very pretty, very pretty. Gskill, very large OC section as usual. Where people are OCing live, trying to break records. All right, so you can see all the fun is here. All right, they got the big tanks of liquid nitrogen here. And if we come here to the side, you'll see some of the builds. I never quite understood what these flowers are for. If you understand, write them down in the comments. So here we have their current RAM lineup. Right, see the gold, the black and whites, the chrome. I don't even remember these. This looks super nice. So, and then we have the gold royals. And then I think this is new. Neo X with the sparkly shiny. This looks new. And then we have the matte black Gskill flares for AMD. Matte black as well, there with the shiny. And then we have the current royals that are out with the Flare X. And then we have systems that are running at fairly high speeds of RAM. Like, look at this, 64 gig by X4 DDR7934. That is crazy. That's crazy quick. Once again, guys, you need like the IMC of the gods to run these speeds. All right, so keep that in mind. And then over here, we have some more of the soon to come. We have this is just a prototype, the orange and yellow. Right, I don't think it's coming out anytime soon, but it's cool to see they're trying some new colors. And then we have a lot of Gskill staff having meetings. And then here we have some systems. Right, this one's actually running that neon orange. What is that? DDR5 8400, CL34. So, once again, these are really amazing speeds ran by CPUs that probably went through a lot of bidding to get. And then we have, let's see what else. So, we have, what's this over here with the Mora? Water cooled. Alright, so we have a booth babe. I'm sure they have more than one. And if we come to one of the highlights of the section here are the mods. So you have one that is completely running out into, oh sorry, I saw this system before it was covered. And then you have Genki's awesome Gundam. Yeah. He always does, he's really out of there, extremely cool. Like the Gundam head follows you, he's looking at someone. And then here we have Modding Cafe's Manta Ray, which is just insane. And then we have a Triangle by MVP. Right, this is pretty cool. And then, yeah, you see his is just taking the stage. And then we have Techni Mods, Teacup. It's very cute. It's like a gigantic case skin, or, you know, but it's very nicely executed. And then we have JP Modifieds, Wind Tunnel, and then we have Noguchi's one of the clearest. This hologram is exceptionally clear. I'm not even too sure how he got that to be so clear, because usually they're kind of blurry. So this is pretty cool. And then we have GGF Stewart's Trident Z build. This is with the Der Bauer's Delta Mate from Thermal Grizzly, Astro 5090 block. He didn't have much time to do this, only like 2 days, so it's very clean how it came out. And I think it's in Harji's case. Harji, I think he's just called, his brand is just Harji, but that's his custom case. I think it's called the Valkyrie. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? And then we have one of AK Mod's Brilliant Creations again, where it's just insane the amount. It's more like a case skin, right? Like a case armor, but it's, you know, the amount of time to stand and do that is just insane. And then with Cam Studios vending machine, I don't really, yeah, I think that's just more like a big vending machine with a motherboard in it. And while I don't know if it dispenses fluids, I mean, it's cool, but personally, I don't know how I feel about being a mod of any kind. But that's more just like a custom case. But that pretty much wraps up Gskill. And let's see what else is down here. I see Palette, there's Transcend. I did stop by Patriot and Team Group. I didn't see anything particularly new, so we're just gonna kind of move past that. Now as we come down, this year is a little different. They split the displays in 1 and 2. This is VColor, which does memory. They have some of the highest capacity CU DIMM kits out at the moment. Wow, they actually have RGB ECC RAM? Are you serious? But yeah, yeah. So a lot of this stuff like cases, LianLI and everything is on the other building. So you're not gonna have much. What is this? Are they just doing this? Oh yeah. Wow, that is crazy. What is that? 128 gigabyte, 16 by 8. It's CL32, XL Fusion IO. Wow, so it is 7950S. Okay, so it is ECC RAMs. That's crazy, and that's actually a Cooler Master custom cooler. But yeah, but it's designed for the Astral. Remember I told you guys before, there was an Astral. But yeah. And here's actually one of the ASUS overclockers. He's the guy that works on a lot of the BIOS stuff. If you guys didn't know. Booth Babes, as usual, is a very attention attracting. I guess that one's super tall, so with her high heels, so everybody's all over her. This is Bitspower. They're in Convention Hall 2. You can see they have a lot of builds on display here. This is Harji, those of you that follow him on YouTube and Instagram. These are his custom build cases, custom design cases, which are super cool. He has a mini one. I think he hasn't released this yet. And then he has a slightly larger one, and he has a large Valkyrie that you guys see at Gskill. Here you have Stewart's Pro Art, which essentially is a ULB's case that's been powder coated. And then we have Timmy from PC Works with his build inside of an InWin H-frame. And then we have a main gear system, which is not my thing, so we'll move on. And then we have an SI build, I believe. Yeah, Starforge Systems. And then we have Alexander PCs. Okay. And then we have the Height distro, which you guys have seen me work with a couple times. And then in the front here, we have some of the really crazy ones. And they have a nice screen thing. Right. It's like, I like how Bitspower is not in a hotel this time. This one is by Bin, Modding Cafe. He told me that this Dragon was supposed to be much larger. As usual, his stuff is just insane and really leading the pack, right? And then next to that, we have Mark's Fabrication, which is a close friend of AK Mods. And of course, his is also a very crazy looking build. And then next to it, we have MSC Studio with a more toned down. And here we have another custom scratch build, kind of like Fortune, Chinese Fortune, right? And then we try to see it again, the Mark's Fabrication here. He's got the time, it's super cool. Very cool steampunkish. And then we have Jenki's suitcase build, also very sick. Right. These are the more out of the box ones, aside from this one, of course. And then, yeah. So there's one more here. What appears to be, I think that's the InWin concept. I think that's the InWin test bench concept case, I think. Is it? Yes, it is the InWin shift. Oh, sorry, here. And obviously, here we go. Very nice. This case isn't released yet, but it's still going to be coming. You can kind of see the how it's going to look. But yeah, let me show you guys the back of Jenki's. Right. Really cool. And then here we have some of the soon-to-be released blocks. You guys have seen me work with the ASUS TRYX stuff. That is the FE version. I suggested that on the left-hand side here, there should be some stuff, not just blank. It would be nice if they can extend it to incorporate the terminal, because that looks kind of weird sticking out. Of course, I'm gonna give my feedback on that. And here we have the Astral one, right, which is a little different than the Tough. But you can see this looks much more polished than the ones that I had received as prototypes. And then we have the Gaming Trio 5080, which is super small, and then the 5080 Astral, which is something I didn't even know they were working on. 9070 XT, and then 9070 XT for more like a server configuration, right? Okay. And obviously now they're having pump covers for GDCs, which is cool, right? Instead of that, just that black. I think this, not for GDCs, I'm sorry. I think that's that is GDC layout, but it might be one of their pumps. Okay, but anyway, so we'll covers for there. So things are coming. There's a lot of things coming. They're not showing everything, obviously. Then they have AIOs. Obviously, I'm gonna try to get my hands on anything that's upcoming to show you guys. But that's Bitspower for you this time. And I almost forgot to record my own builds here. Yes, yours truly is here as well. Two of the simple builds. This one I did a while ago, and I put it back together using a different water block for the GPU. And then this build was the one you guys saw on my Instagram. I had to redo disc drills for the top and bottom. This was pretty much like a super last minute, less than 24 hours for this one. All right, so yeah, that wraps up Bitspower. So I saw these at PNY. These are essentially metal versions of their existing cards that have been polished to a reflective finish. These will be a limited edition release in the United States. Quick look at the InWin. This is the soon-to-be released D-Lite. It is coming at the end of the year. It's still being worked on, but it does have a very premium look and feel, given the price point of probably under $200. But it does look very promising. As well as you can see that it does have a lot of aluminum aspects of it, which kind of raises the overall appeal. And here we have the prism in white. It's not going to have the mirror chrome glass that you have on the black version, simply because they felt it looked better this way. Otherwise it would look too dark. Here is the Chromancy, which is essentially their new InWin signature. I didn't get to shoot it with anything outside of my cell phone, but it is definitely a showpiece, not very practical. It's still kind of being worked in progress. It opens up on both sides, but in this video here, it's only open on one side. I didn't really get a good video of it because I couldn't even get it to open properly with the wand. So it is very much just kind of not what I expected. I was hoping InWin would go more of the functional traditional route for a signature, but I guess they kind of wanted to kind of go overboard like they did with the last one. Overall, I would say I didn't see many things that were of interest. A lot of things I did see conceptually or as a prototype before. So there are some exciting cases coming out. There are some exciting variants of things that already exist. But I would say it was a good Computex. The announcement of Threadripper 9000 was probably the highlight for me. That I'm looking forward to. But overall, Taipei is fun as usual, other than warm. But thanks for watching. I know this is very rough, and thanks for sticking through it.